all the way from the UK, we have her here, the Natasha Denona Love Face Palette. Now, Look Fantastic definitely released this earlier than they were supposed to on their website because Natasha Denona hasn't even technically done the reveal for it yet, but I got so lucky. I was able to order it in the short time that it was available before it sold out. Either it sold out or they stopped selling it and they cut off the orders, but I did pay for expedited shipping all the way from the UK. I ordered it Friday morning and it's here Monday afternoon. So shout out to Look Fantastic for sending this so quickly so I get to actually review this for you guys before it launches, kind of, sort of. I'm sure it's going to end up coming to all of the other retailers, so hang tight. It will be here, and I will have all the links when it becomes available. But I will link down below the Look Fantastic website, so you can take a look at all of the details if you want to. So this cost about 75 USD, which is very expensive. They definitely upped the price since the launch of the Glam Face Palettes. I mean, the price of eggs, y'all. I'm tired of things becoming more expensive. But let's go ahead and take a look at it. Right here is the box that it's going to come in. It's in a really pretty light pinky purpley palette. 18-month shelf life. The palette is made in Italy. If you need to take a look at the back, here it is just in case. But let's go ahead and talk about the details. So like I said, $75. I ordered it from Look Fantastic, and this is adding to the family of the best-selling Love collection. And we have quite a few Love items. I have the Love palette, the Baby Love, the Mini Crush. I have the Love Cheek palettes. It's her Valentine's Day collection that she launches every single year, so I'm going to be doing some comparisons as well. But this is the second launch she's ever done of a face and eye palette like this. The first launch was with two different Glam face palettes. They have fingerprints all over it, so that should tell you about the packaging. But I loved these, and I loved the color, so I'm excited that she launched more because I did want to see more colors of this. I said that in my initial review of them. So it's multi-use with eyeshadows, cream blush, and highlight. Supposed to take the look from day to night if you would like. And it's interesting because there's only one shimmer eyeshadow, 4 mattes, and then the cream blush and the highlight. And as far as I'm aware, I believe these are all new shades. So let's take a closer look at the palette. It comes in the same packaging as the Glam Face palette, but obviously you can see it's the Love now. And then here is the back. It does have the little pins here in case you want to take the items out, which is a new feature, by the way, because the Glam Face palette did not have this option. So this is interchangeable. You can move the shades around if you would like. You do have a mirror, and it does still have the cover for the cheek products and the 5 shades. So I turned the lights down so you can get a better look of the items. So let's just go ahead and swatch these, shall we? I'm gonna start off with the cream blush and the Dream Glow highlight. So the cream blush is described as a taffy pink. It feels creamy. I feel like it's creamier than the Glam Face palettes. And then the Dream Glow highlighter, which feels like a really creamy highlight that's still powder-based. Ew, the inside of my nails look gross. I swear it's because I filmed a swatching video before this. Okay, so this is the cream blush. It's a taffy pink. Ooh, it feels like it's going to be really smooth on the face. And then here is the Dream Glow highlighter, which I think is going to look really good, like up to medium skin tones. Really smooth swatch. And then getting into the eye products, we have Esme. The formula is a creamy matte. It's a matte dusty fuchsia. Juliet, which is a matte light pink. And then Aiko, which is a matte dark eggplant. So these are shades I feel like we've seen before. So again, Esme, not the best swatch, but we'll see. Juliet. And let's see how the dark one swatch is. Okay, that's super duper pigmented. And then this is the Soul Shimmer Eyeshadow Affinity, which is a sparkling foiled icy rose, or icy vintage rose. And then we'll get into Giddy, which is a matte medium dusty rose nude. Oh, I swatched that on the finger of the eggplant. going to use it on a clean finger. So these are these two shades. Okay, so this is Affinity. Ooh, okay, wow, that's very pretty. And then we also have Giddy. I mean, this is not anything super special. It's not something super duper unique, right? But these are the swatches of this palette. I'm gonna go ahead and pop the cheek colors on, and then we'll move on to the eyes. So the cream blush in here does feel a lot creamier and wet than in the Glam face palettes, and I'm hoping that that is a change in formula so that it will last longer, because in one of my Glam face palettes, it actually dried out. So what I'm gonna do, you can see it's completely turning into like a wet cream blush. I do have powder on my cheek, so hopefully it doesn't react weird, and brownie points if it does work well over powder. I'm starting off by working this out. It's definitely not going to be the most flattering. I'm going to go into BK Beauty 106. I'm not really liking how this is looking on my skin tone. That's really not flattering. Taffy pink is just the perfect way to describe this blush. Unfortunately, I wouldn't go as far as to say that I like this. And it also is not going well over my powder. So don't over powder, don't bake before applying this on top. But it did break up a little bit from baking a little bit today, so that is unfortunate. But I don't really like this color on me. It's not very flattering. Okay, it has some pigment, but not very flattering. I think this is gonna look really good on fair skin tones, and I don't think it's gonna show up on deeper skin tones. But it does have some pigment to it. Let's go ahead and try the Dream Glow highlight. I feel like this one's gonna be pretty. Now keep in mind, this is just a first impressions. I will definitely come back, give you guys an updated review in my speed reviews or one of my palette rankings. But I'm just excited to throw this on my face. That's pretty. It's actually pretty light. I thought it looked gold on my swatch, but it's a lot brighter. Oh, the sun is coming out. Definitely a lot brighter. It's a really pretty highlight formula, like you can see right here. Why does that look so funky? Okay, let me take my foundation off and redo this, because I look scaly. Okay, let's see if it's the blush or if I'm corrected. I just put on way too much powder because I didn't expect to film this video today. So I'm gonna take this on my BK Beauty brush. Much better. Much better. Okay. I was like, I had to make sure though, because I was pretty sure it was me. But just in case, like, look, that looks so much better. It's still, honestly though, it doesn't look the smoothest, but so much better. So I would not over powder. I feel like this blush works a little bit better with a sponge maybe or fingers, because it still is moving around my base a little bit. My base today, I have mostly the Catrice True Skin Concealer on most of my cheek area. There's no powder on my cheeks, and it's just not agreeing really. And I think the color is just a little funky as well, which is making it look a little, I don't love this blush. It's just not a good color on me. I don't think this is the best blush Natasha Denona's come out with. Here, let's do the highlight again. But I'm happy I did take my base makeup off and redid it, because it looks a lot better now. Let me go off and do one eye off camera, and I will be back. I might have felt iffy on the blush, but I am definitely not feeling iffy on the eyeshadow. This right up my alley. Natasha did it once again. So let's talk about what I did. I went in with the shade Juliet right here. I really like this shade. I think it's a very pretty bubblegummy pink kind of shade. It looks like the blush, but in powder eyeshadow form, and is much more flattering than the blush in a powder eyeshadow form. I'm also running that along the inner part of my lower lash line, just right here. So this is just going to be on the inner half of the eyelid, kind of peeking through. You can see I did need to build it up to get the vividness, but if you use a white base, it will show up a lot more. If you have like a deep complexion, I don't think so. Maybe with a lighter base, you'll be good, but it's just not going to show up on bare skin very well. And then I'm going into Giddy, which is a little bit more peachy. You can see it's toned down a little bit more. I just wanted to put them next to each other so that you can see that these colors do differ from one another. They are going to create a different vibe for the eye look. I'm more into the bubblegum pink color. Juliet has my heart, but this is pretty. If I had it my way though, I'd put Juliet, the bubblegum color, everywhere. But for the sake of the video, you can see that they are different and they do have different purposes in this palette, which makes me very happy. And then we're gonna build up some color. So I'm gonna go into Esme next. This is that fuchsia color. And I'm gonna put it on the outer half of my eyelid because I wanted to bring up the vividness in the look. This is gonna be pretty all over the lid as well. And then I'm gonna blend it up a little bit, just a little bit. Really good quality, very easy blend. You see all of these shadows are kind of blending themselves. Look at that. If you put Juliet all over the lid and just have like these three colors on the eyelid, talk about a pretty look. And look how nice this blended in with the look. And then really simple, we're gonna go into Ico, which is the dark color. Shades like this, kind of that eggplanty vibe, can be really hard to blend, but we pay a premium in Natasha Denona's formula so that we don't have to deal with the eggplant shade not blending as well. You'll see that this one, she's doing just fine on her own, blending out beautifully. See, I popped that on the lower lash line as well. Look at this blend, minimal effort. And then I want to build up the depth like right out here, so I'm adding another coat, just one more coat in the outer lower lash line. You will not be upset about the eyeshadows here. The mattes are blending so nice. Just using my sponge that I used for my concealer to clean up out here. And then finally, let's get into Affinity. You can see she's gorgeous. I'm just gonna use my thumb. This is not my thumb. I'm gonna use my finger. And you can see it's really glittery, which I like because they aren't chunky glitters, but it doesn't have as much of a base color as I thought. It's almost sheer underneath, but the glimmers are just so reflective that it doesn't matter. And if you do want a base color, use Ico, the eggplant underneath, and you'll get insane shimmer because it will really pop against that contrast. So this isn't like a loose glitter formulation or anything. It's an eyeshadow, it feels like it, but the reflexes she used are just so reflective. It looks like glitter. I'm gonna take my brush, blend this in, and this shade is stunning. I wish she did have a second shimmer in this palette. I would have happily gotten rid of Giddy and then used another shimmer or something that you could like put in between here. That would have been really cool, but love this look. This was right up my alley. I've definitely created a lot of looks like this already. So I'm going to put on liner and lashes and we're gonna do a few comparisons. Okay, so here is the look with my lashes popping off. Oy, oy, oy. This is the look with the lashes not popping off. Right up my alley. But let's do the comparisons because that's what I know a lot of you are really here for. So the one that I thought it was most similar just based on quickly looking, this is the Mini Love palette versus the Love Face palette. You can see right here, eggplant shade to eggplant shade. I also did this shade to this shade, this shade to this shade. Okay, look. This side is the new Love Face palette, and this is the Mini Love. Very, very similar. If anything, I would say the white shimmer in the Mini Love looks more similar to Affinity because of the white reflection. But these colors, identical. Pretty close. They translate differently on the eyelid. I mean, you're gonna get the same vibe, the same look. Not dupe for dupes except for the eggplant shade, but on the eye, the looks are gonna translate very, very similar. Next up, we have Mini Crush versus the Face Love palette. These are definitely different from one another. Let me show you the swatches. So this is the Mini Crush, the Face Love. Definitely more red in the Mini Crush. Still a Valentine's Day palette. Doesn't stray too far from one another. But I definitely think if you have the Mini Crush, the face palette is different. So that's how those two compare. And then here is the Big Love palette versus the Love face palette. I found some similar shades, especially with the mattes. But I don't think there really is a match for the shimmer shade. Take a look. I just put a random shimmer there because there really wasn't anything close, if I'm being honest. But the matte shades, similar, but not exactly the same. I also did want to compare the Retro palette because I noticed the Love Face palette, it has more purple than I expected or saw online. So take a look. This is the Retro palette. Sisters, but not twins. But definitely sisters. And then finally for the blush, there is not a similar blush that I own from Natasha Denona. This is so much more purple. Like, let's compare it to the My Dream Cheek Trio that just launched. Look how warm it makes it look. This is the Love Glow Cheek Palette. No similarities. Now the Champagne Highlight, it's a champagne gold highlight. It matches up with most of the highlighters in her collection, but it's a glow on the face, that's to be expected. No blush, not even in the Daria palette, is this purple, so it's very, very unique. So overall, the hair is crazy. So overall, my thoughts about this palette. I think it's very beautiful. I love the eye look that I can get. I can get this eye look with a lot of other palettes in my collection, but not everybody has my collection, of course. I really like it. If you like this look, I think you will like the palette. If you have any of these palettes from Natasha Denona, you can get similar looks with as well. The closest match is definitely the Love palette, but they're all sisters, not twins, but especially with the Love palette, you can certainly get a look that looks like this, but not really dupe for dupes except for the eggplant color. That was the only one that I felt I could find in a lot of other palettes. So it's not unique, it's not different, but I think it's a fun Valentine's Day collection. The eyeshadows are really high quality. The blush I don't find to be the most flattering on my skin tone. It's okay quality. I normally really like that blush formula, but I think with the color just not flattering my skin tone, it looked extra bad with my face makeup, but the highlight is pretty. So I think it's a good Valentine's Day launch if it's colors that you think you will enjoy, but if it's colors you feel you own a lot of and you're trying to save money, don't feel tempted by this. It's not a must-have. But I think Natasha did a really good job with this, and I am continuing to enjoy this face palette format. I think it's really nice and versatile. But you know what? I wish we would like do more cheek colors or something on top instead of the two, because I feel like there's some empty space. That would be nice. I like getting more product and really utilizing that space. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know your thoughts on the palette down below. As stated before, this is a first impressions, so make sure you stay tuned for a speed reviews or a palette update video. This will be in there as I continue to use it. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye guys, have a good one.